we got our 2 that makes us follow the rules right there on the end. So.
5 years of service.
There's a little story behind that. I'm gonna have to call out the sheriff on this.
So they may kind of do what Dylan said.
Good morning. It is 10:01 a.m. on Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. Call this meeting of the Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. If everyone would please rise, Commissioner Watts will give our invocation.
Pray with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the many, many blessings that you give to us each and every day, Father. Thank you for being with us, guiding and directing us. Father, we pray for the homeless today, and we ask that you be with them, wrap your arms around them, and keep them warm, as we know cold weather has a severe impact on that population, Father. We just ask that you guide and direct us today during our meeting. Be with us, give us wisdom, Father, and to ask the right questions. Father, we pray for those that protect and defend us around the world and here at home in our county family, Father. Be with them. Keep your arms around them, Father, and protect them for what they do and provide for us. Father, we pray for our leaders today around our country, Father. Be with them, strengthen them, and let them make wise decisions. Father, all these things I pray in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Please join us for the pledge to the U.S. flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the pledge to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, everyone may be seated. We do have a presentation this morning of a certificate and service award to Mickey Fincannon, Wichita County Precinct 2 Commissioner, for 5 years of service to Wichita County. It's always a little awkward when it's a commissioner doing this, because I guess we could just stay at the dais and do it, but
5 years
Yeah.
seems longer.
well, I thought it was longer. So yeah, tell
Well,
us-
he came up with the story, but we couldn't validate it.
That's my story.
He spent the first part of it in jail. That's the problem.
There's a headline.
There you go. The reason going through with this is the good old sheriff's department evidently has no records of me ever working for the county.
We do. We have your file, I think. It's pretty positive.
Well, HR says they contacted the sheriff's department, couldn't find any documentation that I'd worked at the sheriff's department for 57 months, or 57 or 67 months that I went before the city. So anyway, they were gonna give me a 10-year deal, but they couldn't document it.
You wanna
So
put that
they
on
had
hold for,
property.
you wanna put that on hold for a week?
And right now, if you go through the retirement system, it shows on there 57 months or 67 months of municipal work, and then 30, however many years. I have like 39 years total, but the 28 years and 29 years with the city is on there for municipal also.
So take the 5 year, we'll find your file and come back and get your
I'll
10
come
year.
back in a 10 year. That's just what that is. 5 years as a commissioner, very thankful for it. If y'all haven't noticed, I love my job. I might not always act the happiest, the most cheerful, but I love my job as a commissioner. I love working with the people that I work with. I love the county family, and we are a family. I think our whole community is a family. Burke, Iowa Park, Electric, we're all a family. I think we all have to work together. So I do love my job, and I do appreciate it.
Well said. No, I mean, it is clear to all of us who work with you that you do love what you do and you do love the county. And it's nice having someone who's even more stoic than I am next to me on the dais. It helps with my personality. So thank you. So yeah, whether it's 5 years or 10 years, we do appreciate the service and the time you've been here. I know that I know we've talked about this. It's always a little different when it's an elected official being recognized, because I feel like the voters deserve we should be giving the certificate to them. But Mindy, thank you for what you do. It's a pleasure working with you and serving with you, and look forward to however many more years you'll be doing this. Thank you. Oh yeah, because I need to do that. Very good.
Another reason for this is Maureen told me the judge hates to come up here and do these. So.
Thank you.
We're out to jail, but we can't prove it.
That sounds a little suspicious to me. I don't know.
There we go. All right, any other presentations to do this morning? Okay. It is 10:06 then. We will open up for public comment. I would like to remind folks that comments need to be limited to 5 minutes or less. Commissioners Court cannot take action on anything brought up during public comment. Do we have any public comments this morning?
And Judge, let me clarify, we'll have additional public comments during, when we talk to Quinard and his group. Okay.
Yeah, so for anyone who's here who might be interested in either of the public hearings that are scheduled for this morning, you can make your comments now, but it'd probably be better to save those for the public hearings for the tax abatement agreement and the Musgrave Road segment. Thanks for that clarification, Commissioner. So do we have any public comments this morning? All right. Well, it's 10:07. Proof that an elected official, even when there's nothing to do, can still take some time to do it if it's a speech. It's 10:07 and public comments are closed. Let's move to the consent agenda. There are 12 items on the consent agenda. I need to ask for changes on a couple of those. Item number 6, which is a motion to authorize an assistant public defender, Kiera Vaughters, to second chair a murder trial in Baylor County to assist a court-appointed lawyer. It's talking to our auditor. Need to add some language to that motion to make it clear that she will be paid as if she is at training during this time. May I just ask to have that made clear on the motion? Is there any objection to having that added? No. Okay. David, any issues with that?
No, Judge, thank you.
Okay.
And I'm assuming that, quick question, I'm assuming that's specifically for that reason, to get training in a murder trial.
That's correct.
So-
We've got trials she's helped with here, murders included, but we're just trying to get her as much experience as we can. This particular lawyer asked for her help specifically on this trial out there, and I figured since we weren't currently scheduled for any other trials for her help with that particular week, that she might as well go and get some training.
I mean, I
Make
personally
sure all
think,
her stuff here is covered.
I personally think that's good, because, you know, a lot of times we'll hire outside counsel to go do something because we don't have anybody in that office that's trained or has done that particular thing before, so I think it's good for the office.
Sounds like a win-win.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then on item number 8, this was the motion to approve payment of less than $1,000 for the 2025 Safety Awards Luncheon. I wanted to make sure that we didn't have in the original motion language which department that payment would come out of, and it should come out of Department 409. Is there any objection to adding language to make sure that the 409 department payment is where it's coming from? Okay. Words. All right. And then, okay, that's it for the stuff that I had for the consent agenda. Do y'all have any changes, questions, comments on any of the items?
Just a comment on item 5. That monument is, if you're driving down Old Jacksboro Highway, approaching Rathgaber Road, it's that granite obelisk that sits off the side of the road. Has not been maintained. It's been there since the 30s. I've been approached by several citizens as well as the Historical Society to put that on the courthouse lawn, because it is I guess the dedication plaque of Wichita County.
Yeah.
So it just seems like a good thing to do, because it's just sitting over there unmaintained.
Yeah, it'd be one thing if there had been a long history associated with it in a presentation, but yeah, I think it makes sense.
Where did it come from, Mark? What's the
It looks like it's a text dot installation. I think they
Oh.
did one every county.
Yeah.
So it sits right at the county line, or right close to the county line, but
Wow.
It kind of serves no purpose or does nobody any good where it's at right now, so.
And the historical commission, brought this and they're
Yeah,
in
they're one of
alignment
the
with it.
ones,
and-
along with several citizens.
Are we gonna be able to move it ourselves?
We can, hope I can get some professional help with that. Without, yeah, we're working on looking at how to move it. I've got some experience moving those, and on moving the Caulfield, Airfield Memorial from Kickapoo Airport out to the new airport, so.
I know a guy in the sign business and he's in the courtroom today, as a matter of fact. Go.
It's, moving those big pieces of granite's not an easy task. But that's what that's all about.
Okay.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Pincannon, seconded by Commissioner Beecham to approve the consent agenda with item number 6 and number 8 amended. Do we have any questions or comments on any of the items or the motion? All right, that motion's before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Excuse me. All right, general business. Item number 1. I'll note that it is 10:12 a.m. and we will start a public hearing to consider the approval of a tax abatement agreement with Total Energies Renewables USA LLC. Let me get my notes here. All right, as everyone will recall, earlier in the fall, the court voted to approve a reinvestment zone for potential projects out in the western portion of the county. That was Wichita Solar Reinvestment Zone number 1. We discussed it at the time, and it's a pretty large tract of land. This abatement agreement does not apply to the whole tract. It's just for that first phase that y'all will remember of the southern portion. The abatement agreement is contingent upon an investment of at least $830 million. It would be a 10-year abatement, and this one is something that I don't know that Wichita County has done before, but it is a pilot or a payment in lieu of taxes. And what that means for the folks listening at home or who may not know what that is, it essentially puts 100% abatement on the investment, but then has the company or the developer pay a check every year for an amount to the county to offset whatever abatement amount that we would have done otherwise. And so, for example, this pilot amount is for an annual check of $1,253,648, and that would equate to if we had done a 40% abatement over the course of 10 years of the project. So again, something we haven't done before, but that's what this is, and that pilot amount is $1.253 million and some change. There is a mechanism per the developer's request. We worked with our chief appraiser, also ran it by Melvin, but there is a mechanism to increase that amount if the investment goes higher than that. And the way that is done is if they do 10% more of an investment, it increases that pilot amount by 10%, so it's commensurate.
10% over that $830 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$830 million.
Yeah, so then add 10% to the 1.25. It commences on January 1st of the year following the certification that operations have commenced, and with a no later than 2030 date. One other thing I wanted to bring to the court and to the public's attention, there's an Exhibit F in the abatement agreement that y'all may have seen. Dwayne and our emergency management folks, he got together with our fire departments just to ask for what equipment they might need, training, response stuff that they might need in case of a event, especially a fire happening at the proposed solar farm, and came up with a number of requirements that the developer was willing to work with us on. And so I'll be happy to either have him go through that if y'all want to, or I'll go through it myself. But basically, We've got pre-incident response planning that they have to do with the county and then any of the volunteer fire departments that could be responding. We've got training requirements that they are gonna provide annual training for the county and for fire departments on how to respond to some specific aspects of these fires. Equipment requirements to provide for fire blankets, lithium-ion rated fire extinguishers, a utility task vehicle equipped with a skid unit suitable for wildland or off-road response, and a thermal imaging camera. All of that to work with the county and provide that will be available to departments that might need to respond. They're also doing providing a water tender or other method that could help sustain long-term, long-lasting firefighting operations. Working on some the ingress and the egress and the site access for emergency responders. They're going to be working with the county on identifying those. We've got some standards in here for what the access roads that they build have to be up to, and then just some general language on code compliance. So I know that there was some concern from those in the community, and that's why I asked Dwayne to get with them for our fire departments who are already volunteers. This is not part of the normal course of what they would do. It's unlikely that there would be ever an incident, but if there is, we want to make sure we're ready. And Total was willing to work with us on that. And so that's the 10,000-foot view of the abatement agreement.
Quick question on that equipment that y'all are responsible for, is that gonna be kept there on site?
Yeah, so I mean, that's definitely when we come up.
No, either way,
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, so that equipment would be kept on site.
Okay.
I mean, specifically, it depends though. I mean, when we go through the training or when we set up all the training and go through it, we can determine if it needs to be on site or if it needs to be at a specific.
whatever's beneficial for the fire department.
Correct. So, all right, I don't wanna say it's gonna be on site, because if it's on site and a fire happens and the fire department has to get in there,
Right.
then that's probably a big problem. So,
And one thing that people don't understand is this area is gonna be kept up and managed a lot better than than the prairie land or the wildlands that are there now. So your chances of having a fire on that particular area are a little bit less than they would be if it just left for grazing pasture land.
Well,
You're gonna-
that brings up a question, Commissioner, because, Dwayne, I think it backed me up on this. I believe out of the last 5 years, there's probably not been a time when we didn't have a major grass fire
In that
across
area.
the 287 from that property. I mean, it just seems like
Yeah.
every year we get one. And they got very close to getting out of control, when you got strong winds blowing back that way. Are there any considerations about putting some kind of a perimeter fire block, say to the south edge of that property, in case you do get one that comes across the highway that would block that thing and keep it out? I think that's something we ought to look at. Because
And he's saying a fire block, that could be as easy as just
yeah, bare ground,
plowed strips of ground
yeah, just to
keep
where
any
you can-
fire coming.
Fire break.
It would, fire break, that's what I'm talking about, and it would give us a place to fight that thing coming, and that's kind of the major consideration. I think it's something that ought to be considered, but that could kind of go in, I mean, I know we're not building the thing right now, but I'm sure we're designing and getting ready, but that area just south of the 287 has been very prone to range fires for the last several years. There seem to be one pop up, and well, when the wind's coming out of the south, there's not much to stop it.
And the reason to bring that up is to protect y'all's property. I think it would be to y'all's advantage in your design phase to design in those fire breaks in it, no different than our city of Wichita Falls right now is doing with their wildfire design around the city of Wichita Falls to make fire breaks, just to protect y'all's investment.
What will the vegetation be like on the premises around the panels?
what will it be like?
Yeah, I mean, is it?
I mean, so we kind of work with a EPC company who will kind of determine it. I mean, so we're actually on our say our 4th or 5th iteration of the layout.
Yeah.
So that's pretty set in stone. So
How is that grass managed or kept low? Is it grazed out or is it mowed down? How is it?
So it'll either be grazed or mowed. I mean, we're actually open to either or.
It'd be
so
maintained.
Right, it'll definitely be maintained, so one of the things we'll look at is, there are companies that have like sheep, and they can, you know, bring their sheep and we'll pay them to leave their sheep for a certain time when the grass needs to be grazed.
And the wild hogs will help you out quite a bit. I already tell you, get ready.
Well, it is,
And I
It
say
should be
that,
gates
yes, but that
to
is
keep
gonna be a
them out.
challenge. And a consideration, because they are pretty prolific out there.
Well, and I'll say this, I mean, you always have to build these agreements with a bad actor in mind. I don't think that's what Total or
correct.
any successor might be, but, that is why the incident response planning, the annual training, that's why a lot of those things are built, is that questions that pop up, issues that are concerns that may come to light that we can't foresee right now with crystal ball, or that y'all can't foresee. There's an open communication.
Right.
This won't be the last conversation y'all have with the county on this.
No, and we're actually open to those conversations, and like, that's specifically my whole job is to, I'm your voice to this big corporation. So,
Well, you want it protected more than anybody.
right, more than anyone, because if something comes up and I didn't tell them, they're gonna say, you didn't tell us.
So the most frequent question I've been asked is what happens in a hailstorm?
I mean, that would be considered like an act of God, so I mean, we definitely will have insurance and stuff like that would cover that.
Do y'all, that was the
Hopefully.
question, are y'all so big that y'all have self-insurance, you don't insure it? Or do you have insurance to cover it in case a tornado comes through there or a hailstorm and tore out a large section of it? Cause that is a
Yeah.
public
That's a concern.
comments that we're
that-
constantly
That
asking.
we're gonna get one hailstorm, the whole thing's gonna get beat up, and you're gonna abandon it, and it's gonna look
Oh,
sad
so-
ugly
so-
forever. So,
Total Energies is a billion-dollar company, so I mean, they can cover it, but I'm pretty sure our execution has insurance to cover that.
So
They
you're not-
could be self-insured, you don't know. I
Have
mean,
you
let me,
been
let me
around-
ask two more questions on that line. So you're not gonna build it and abandon it, because for one, there's regulations on what you have to do if it ever becomes abandoned.
Correct.
So can you explain what those regulations are? If 10 years from now, you decide to walk away from it, what happens to that site?
And they're addressed to some extent
I-
within our agreement.
I
as
get
well.
that.
Yeah,
I want him to say it for the public.
Oh, okay. Are you asking me to talk about the?
Yeah, what happens if the day you walk away, if it's.
And if you
it's-
need to phone a friend, you can as well.
Right.
and we can-
Typically, and let me address the
Yeah.
problem with the hail, because in my experience, I've seen some projects that were built, the next year they got hit by a big hailstorm. They obviously were insured, and the hailstorm was kind of out of the blue, but typically they'll move these panels and get them straight up if they know it's coming, if they can predict
Oh,
that.
okay.
So that cuts a little bit of that off.
So how much time does it take to move all those panels? Are they motorized?
Yes,
or-
sir.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay,
Anyway, so that kind of would address that, I guess.
okay.
And also,
All right.
I've seen projects, probably 2 or 3 over the last 20 years, that they were insured, obviously, and they replaced every panel
Okay.
out there, so.
So, second question on that line. Panel does get busted. There's no environmental hazard or anything. We're not gonna leach chemicals into the groundwater or, there's
No.
none of that concern on this project.
No, because so the project is gonna have 2 people that's gonna be there the whole time, and it's also gonna be monitored remotely. So if anything happens to one panel or it's not acting right, we'll get that person there to check it before.
Cause it's a very common question I've been asked.
Yeah.
If something happens and the panels crack or whatever,
There's nothing.
from
they
what,
cannot-
what my constituents are telling me, that they've had other panel farms like this that have contaminated groundwater. Is that in the realm of possibility, and what do you do to mitigate it?
I mean, there's really nothing you could do to mitigate it, but I mean, it could happen, but the probability of it happening is probably slim to none.
Slim to none, okay.
Yeah.
But
What chemicals are we talking about?
chemicals in there that actually can do that, or are you talking about debris from the panel itself?
I'll be talking about debris from the panel.
No, well,
There's not any liquid.
no, and I get that. No, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah,
I get where you're going.
speaking of water, have we looked at how the construction of those panels will change the runoff water from that property? I would suspect it might be more because it's like running off a roof, and we would need to be careful that doesn't wash across a road or a neighboring property. I just wonder if we've even studied the runoff water that's gonna come and ahead of
Yeah.
running.
Yeah, so
That part of the engineering, I've not
Correct.
seen the plan, so.
yeah, so you haven't seen the plan because we haven't put it out yet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I understand, it's a lot of this is proprietary, I get it. It's a competitive world, but we're very cautious and I'm very familiar with that land, I know it very well, and, there are a lot of conservation measures in place, in its agricultural use right now, and I would want us to be very careful not to, disrupt that runoff, because it could really create some problems, that needs to be a consideration.
Right, so to just kind of answer your question, yeah, we went through like several layouts and we kind of see that in the layout. That's why we keep making
Right.
a couple changes. So I don't foresee any issue.
Yeah. And as we move forward, we have the availability of National Resources Conservation Office there in Iowa Park that would be
Okay.
glad, and they're very familiar with the land because they did the planning on it under its current situation. If there's any questions about the runoff, they've got the maps and everything there, so they'd be a good resource to consult with. Make sure that we don't cause a problem we're not expecting, and because that runoff water can be. And besides that, we don't want a bunch of silt in the lake. There is a lake right there. In fact, it's in the watershed, it's part of the lake, and we've got to be very careful about letting that silt cause problems. It can be controlled, but it's got to be part of the plan.
Right.
Is my point. We want to make sure you use all the resources. Those resources are available to help out with that.
Okay. And then I wanted to come back to your question because
Yeah.
I guess you wanted me to talk about the decommissioning bond.
Decommissioning, yeah,
So-
thank you, I was fixing to ask again.
Right, so definitely there would be a decommissioning bond involved where if Total disappears, if I'm not at Total anymore and they don't build this, that decommissioning bond is set and it'll be paid for specifically to remove everything and put the land back how it was. So,
Who's
Yeah.
that held by, Quinard?
so we have to actually purchase it, but I mean, we didn't purchase it yet until we get the abatement signed, and then we will.
But I mean, is
Who's
it
the
regulated
payee?
by TCEQ like a landfill would be, and I'd have to bond to close the landfill at a time in the future that TCEQ's holding that bond so that if I disappeared, they can come in there and act on the bond and close the landfill, or is that, how does this
So
work?
it'll be held by another third party. So we can't hold the bond
No.
because, I mean, we could disappear and then not do what we said we would do. So it'll be held by a third party who will come in and handle all of that and be able to pay for it.
I'm assuming that
Whatever
would be a
needs to be
third
done.
party
Decommissioning,
of the county and
Yeah, those are,
hotels.
who's the payee on
Yeah.
the bond?
I would have to check. I can speak with execution and then get that exact.
Yeah, that'd be a good answer just to have, because we're gonna get asked about it in
Is
public.
that in the
Okay.
landowner agreements, Bernard, to basically put the land back?
Yes, it is. So it is also in the landowner agreements that we have signed, well, with the landowners, but we're purchasing the land, so we're gonna be the owners.
so secondary to that, one of the questions I get is when you put the land back,
Mhm.
is it going back to the same condition it was before, or are we talking about dead ground from now on?
No, well, so 9 times out of 10, once you decommission like a solar farm, the land's gonna be better.
Okay,
Cause,
that is a concern, that the one I keep hearing over and over, we don't make new land, so we can't destroy the land that we have.
nah, I mean, so I've been out to this site like probably 50 times, and you know, I probably know each mesquite tree turn. I've driven it, on trucks and 4-wheelers a lot, so I can assure you that coming back after after we remove all everything, it will be better than what I see currently.
Well, and that was one of the questions about the vegetation management, because, you know, there is a possibility to go in there and do a soil sterilant deal to control that vegetation, but would not be a good idea. It would create tremendous erosion and problems, and it would also make it a lot harder to reclaim and repurpose. So the way I'm understanding you, we're gonna be growing vegetation under those things, and that really makes a difference. That would be my fear, that somebody just wanted to come in, sterilize
Kill
it.
everything.
It's hard to get back. It can be done, but it's difficult.
No, so it'll be grass.
Big grass.
Yeah, it'll be grass. So there's a process of.
It's native grass too.
Well, over a
Yeah,
period of, let's say it was in operation for 10 years, you raise grass on it, over a period of 10 years, the ground's actually gonna be better, because you're gonna be putting all that organic matter back in the ground.
Correct.
That is actually a plus, as long as you don't have something out there to sterilize it. I assume the underground conduit that could be plowed up, I think you could pull all that.
Right.
That was,
It'd be a big job, but it could be reclaimed.
Yeah,
Is the way I look at it.
Easily reclaimed, but yeah, there'll be some underground conduit.
Yeah.
decommission question again,
Uh-huh.
and this is more specific. We've, just exactly for the listeners. If you decommission the place, all the equipment above the ground comes up,
And under.
all the concrete comes up that
Yes.
everything's mounted to, all the underground conduit comes up, and it is 100% back to native pasture land.
Correct.
That's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to know that everything's coming up. The concrete, the conduit, the electrical, everything will come up if it's decommissioned.
Yeah, and like, so you gotta think of it from like our standpoint. So we're purchasing the land, so once we clean it up,
It's an asset.
right, who's
Yeah.
gonna be the owner?
Right. And that's, the only reason I ask you that again is just specifically to have the details for the people listening to this public
I
hearing.
understand.
And there's very little concrete, actually.
Yeah.
It's just the
Right.
piles that's driven into the ground
Yeah.
for the major portion of the project.
And
So
that's-
each individual solar panel just has a drove-in pole. It's not a cemented in.
Yeah, so it's totally different from what you would see like on a wind farm. where
Right.
They gotta put all this concrete
Massive
in,
structures, yeah.
massive structure to hold up that tower.
And prepare yourself, you're gonna be amazed at how many mesquite trees come up on that property.
Oh, I plan to be out here doing the construction because I wanna see how.
There's gonna be a bunch.
Well, and just one, we've already talked about this during the reinvestment zone. I feel like we've talked about this 3 or 4 times this year, but one more time I'm gonna remind folks. The abatement process is a nice to have adjacent to for a developer, especially if y'all are buying the land. There's no requirement in state law or anything requiring an abatement, requiring commissioner's court approval, requiring anybody to sign off on this. And so from my perspective, it is a way for us to encourage, to make us more competitive for y'all to come in and to choose this site. But it also allows us, especially by doing the pilot, it allows us to be able to plan knowing what sort of, in lieu of tax revenue that's gonna be coming in for the life of the abatement agreement. And it also gives us a seat at the table to work with y'all on any problems that might come up, anything that might affect adjacent property owners or county, folks who live here as a whole. But it's not a requirement. They could go in and develop the property and put up a solar farm and, just say
Right.
to
As the
heck with all
property
of them.
owners, they could do any of that.
That's right.
And without this abatement, there's no reclamation bond, there's no, y'all could build it, walk away from it in 2 years and nobody could say anything about it, it's your property. I don't know if there's any federal regulations.
In their
that
state
might-
regulations?
I think
Right.
when you're developing a solar farm, you have to do a
There'd be
decommissioning.
environmental,
whether there's that.
environmental rules, TC.
They don't have to do
would be
near
involved.
what
Yeah.
you would do
Right.
without an abatement.
Well, the whole objective behind that is to be a good neighbor.
Yeah.
And just let you know that, everything that we do, we wanna do it to the best of our ability. We don't wanna hide, we don't wanna try to get it built without you knowing, we
Yeah.
want everybody to be a part of it and to know what's going on, so.
Couple,
there are concerns in the community. You guys understand that. We're hearing from people and, that, you know, anything new is, you know, it's scary to a lot of people, like, okay, what's gonna happen? What's the downside? And we're trying to approach all those. We're not trying to pick you guys to pieces, but these are things that people have called and asked us about and would like to know. And, gosh, I had another one and I've lost it here. One other, now, for my clarification, the payment in lieu of abatement will continue throughout the lots.
It's for the 10 years of the agreement.
Okay, 10 years.
And
Do you
at that point, then whatever-
renegotiate it at that point?
Well, at that point, whatever the value is on that would be then fully taxable. Historically, a lot of times what happens is then they'll come in, a developer would come in and redevelop and ask for an agreement, but it's for the 10 years and then it's off.
So-
And that dollar amount
It's $1,253,648
annually?
annually.
So that's a guaranteed payment once they start the construction,
Once they're
once they're fully
operations
operational.
start.
Okay.
Tommy, help me with this, but right now, and a lot of people don't understand this, every acre of that land's under ag valuation. And so the income from a tax standpoint off of that property moving forward will be considerably more than it is now.
Considerably.
More. So that is a consideration. So-
But what is abated?
Let me grab my number.
And while he's grabbing that, can I ask another question?
Oh, more questions.
Shepherd Air Force
Is it
Base,
equipment and
Okay.
property?
No, sir, the land's
Talk
not
to me.
abated. The land
That's-
is not abated.
that's a common question that I get. Has Shepherd Air Force Base been consulted? Are they good with the solar farm?
Yes.
Yeah, we went through this, I think, when we did the reinvestment
I-
zone.
I wanna hear it again,
Yeah,
so
yeah, so,
people have asked me.
so everything was clear with Shepherd Air Force Base and the FAA.
So that, it's not gonna affect Shepherd's mission, it's not gonna affect future, missions, or drawing future missions here.
Correct. And,
Okay.
and we submitted the letter from them states that
Okay.
it doesn't affect.
And another quick question from the audience is the lifespan, what's the projected lifespan of this particular solar farm?
Good question.
I mean, so solar farms last about what, 25 to 30 years. So I would put it in that realm, a possibility.
So right now, and you say 40%, so you think after 10 years, what percentage of the value will be?
20%.
Yeah, it's 20%, that's required.
It'll be
Something like-
roughly, if you, let's say $830 million year one,
Mhm.
so 20% of that would be left on the tax rolls.
166 million.
From
So-
there until, as long as it exists is the idea, because solar in Texas is, the tax code states how it's to be valued.
And the
cost
re-
on a 10-year useful
So
life.
And the reason I bring that up is that 166 million, what's the value of the property right now?
Well, it has,
It's under
it's,
ag,
it
though.
has to be
It's under ag, I know.
assessed.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
risk.
But what I'm getting at is, it's gonna be a vast improvement either way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm throwing out to the citizens.
That's probably not
It brings the
public
tax
information,
base
I
up.
don't
Well,
think.
Yeah.
That's a
and
real estate deal.
So Jim, your number doesn't take into effect what they will pay in regular taxes on,
The actual real property.
it's not 6,000 acres, it's gonna be more like 3,000 acres.
Right. Yeah, it's just the capital investment that they make.
And that difference between the ag evaluation today and what they'll actually pay for the next 10 years on that property is considerable.
And
Yeah.
further, we're not abating the road and bridge portion of the tax, is that correct?
Right.
That's correct.
So we still
Yes, sir.
collect the full amount of road and bridge tax, which is gonna
It's-
be
it would also-
substantial.
it'll be in the
And
electric school
INS,
district,
Mark.
I believe.
And
Electric school
INS as
district.
well.
And I know.
Oh, well.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
what?
Electric school district, that's what it's, yeah, is it
Yes.
all in electric
Yeah,
and electric
There's a
hospital?
separate
district?
abatement.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right, he's just asking for general.
Yeah, I'll just get the general idea. I didn't know where the cutoff line was
So-
there.
And Barry, even if it's worth 2,500 an acre, that's only $15 million worth of property. And 166 million is that's a large improvement.
What is the oldest farm y'all got in operation today?
The oldest, I believe it would be one in Ohio, that, get the name of it. I don't have it off the top of my head, but it's a solar farm in Ohio.
Probably around.
5 years old, 3 years
Yeah,
old, 10 years old?
I think 4 years old.
Yeah.
And solar in Texas really come around in about 2014, 15, was when the first projects were built.
I'm gonna ask another
But we
wacky
have
question.
several sites in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here goes another question that I get. Electromagnetic fields that can affect the animals in the area.
No, that's a myth.
Birds
you
aren't
can-
gonna
you can
fall out
look
of the
it up.
sky.
No, I mean, most people complain about that with wind farms, but, there were studies shown for wind and solar.
The magnetic
So-
field was under the power line.
So,
It is
more,
there, I guarantee.
really
It could be.
specific.
Yeah.
So I know this has been a problem in other locations with solar panels attracting migratory birds, particularly waterfowl, because from the air, they can tend to look like a body of water. That's a concern with Shepherd? Have y'all experienced anything like that?
No,
No migratory birds landing and populating your solar farm with?
Nope.
Okay.
There's already a tremendous population of sandhill cranes.
No,
that
I
are
get
there
that,
on a
but
regular basis.
cattle egrets and other, like migratory birds,
Yeah.
that's a big concern. for
Yeah,
bird
and I
strikes
mean,
with
if they
shepherd.
came to that area, I'm sure they're going to the reservoir.
Probably so.
Yeah.
I'm asking
No,
the
I know,
questions
I-
been asked of me.
Well,
So-
okay, that's why I want to clear.
Because there's no public here to ask, so I'm asking the public questions that I've been asked.
Yes, sir.
And y'all unfortunately are going first of the two proposed solar
That's fine.
farms, so.
The sandhill cranes will go to wheat pastures where
Well,
they
yeah,
will eat it completely up, you know.
I asked the questions been asked of me, so.
And to speak to that, Commissioner, as part of the other project, the one just east of Burke Burnett, it's right there, right off
Right at
the
the end of the runway.
As part of that project, they commissioned a glint glare study and a study to see about the effect on the bird population, because obviously it's a concern right there especially.
Yeah.
And that study came back with no concerns based on the materials in the
Yeah.
project, so.
Is there a battery component?
Yes.
There is, okay.
Yeah, so that,
Which is kind of what makes them work, the way I understand it.
well, right, so that's what the industry has kind of changed to, probably about 2 or 3 years ago. Companies start realizing, like, for battery storage, you need much less acreage.
Yeah.
So when you sign all this acreage, if you can clear up 10, 20 acres for some battery storage, you can maximize your investment.
So
And sell it all the time.
Right.
the battery storage is where we have the fire hazard potentially,
Correct.
or the leaching of chemicals.
Well, so no.
So they're going to be in some kind of basin, I
Correct,
guess.
they're gonna be in a container, so it looks like those shipping containers.
Mhm.
So if that battery explodes, it's all contained,
Okay,
and it will stay in that container. That door
Yeah.
is always gonna be closed,
I
probably
guess-
not locked.
I
or-
guess TCEQ has regulations concerning the construction of those to keep water, keep.
Correct.
Okay.
So the construction company that's gonna build it, yeah, they will follow every regulation, and specifically, I believe, her name's gonna be Olivia who's over it. She's very tough, so I know she's gonna make sure they follow everything that they're supposed to do. She's a part of our execution team.
And again, as part of the abatement, compliance with
Yeah.
anything that's on
With
the state or
TCEQ
federal side
and-
is part of it,
Yep.
so.
Okay.
Any other questions from commissioners before we open up for public?
Two
Okay.
questions. One, just a statement about the fence, Quinard, and you may run into this or encounter it when y'all are engineering it, you may think through it. Barry brings up a good point that if you are gonna mow, especially with robotics or anything else underneath those panels, the hogs are a terrible problem for us here. And to design the bottom of that fence to be more proactive against it encountering without something to support that chain link at the bottom, be it a cable or tense wire.
Be a good investment going in.
No, the
'Cause they're there,
hogs
yeah.
will push against it, and they may rub against it, and they typically like to scratch themselves on chain link anyway. But once they find any give, they'll sure come under it. And to put thought into that would be beneficial, as well as we live in a country where running sheep is difficult. You have good fencing, and you'll put good fencing around the farm itself. But anything that can enhance the fence to that regard, cows will dig under no matter what you probably do. But it at least minimizes that impact and allows you to capitalize on more interest, because we live in a heavily populated predator area that can cause tremendous trouble with people dumping 200 head of sheep on you, and when they, so anyway, that I just comment, but my question is the transferability. Say that in 3 years from now, Total decides to sell it to Quasar Energy. The abatement transfers fully without our approval, and does the agreement go along with them? And are they able to manipulate the abatement at that time?
They are not able to manipulate the abatement at that time. The abatement is written so that if it's transferred over, it's transferable.
Well, I have a better answer. So-
Please give a better answer.
So Total owns and operates all solar farms. We don't build a solar farm and sell it. So yeah, I can look at all of our solar farms.
But
haven't
somebody
built
could
any solar.
acquire Total. I mean, they could come in and
Who do you know can afford to acquire this?
He's just asking.
Elon Musk.
a hypothetical, I'm just used to agreements that usually come back through for review if there is a transfer of ownership on those. And I didn't know if the abatement would allow for the fact to Total to charge a $2 million tax amount and pay us $1 million of that. So that's what I wondered about, if that was able to be manipulated in that manner. And then the agreement stands intact, I guess, for either direction as to whoever's operating the agreement at the time for the solar project. The rules that apply to Total starting in would be the rules that whoever finishes the project have to live by.
Correct.
But it's gonna be Total. Yeah, that's not something that Total does, and it's something that they're strongly they believe in, that if we get a project, we're gonna do it from beginning to end to completion. There's never no objective to build a project and sell it.
What's the estimated amount of time to get the entire project finished once you begin?
Once we start construction,
Yeah. I mean, is it a 2-year deal?
Yeah.
Just a rough estimate, I guess.
So
You run
it's-
into things you don't expect, and
right, so it's about a 2-year deal when you're kind of dealing with like the weather,
right,
and then just people.
shortages, and you never
Right.
know, yeah, delivery
Civil.
problems, and
Cause I mean, you know, you can make all these plans, but like I said about the mesquite trees, once you go out there and you start trying to,
yeah.
So,
pull them up and dig them down to the root,
Yeah.
timing could change, so. But I feel like all that's built into that timeline.
so in the meantime, if it takes 3 years, we're receiving taxes on what has been built up to that point.
Correct. We're good to see CIP valuation.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But we won't let the EPC company take 3 years, cause we.
No,
need-
I get that, I get that, I just,
Yeah,
and when's the project kick off, when do you turn dirt?
first quarter of next year.
Quickly then.
Again, they've got a
by
separate agreement that the clock is
or-
ticking on, so.
By April or sooner, yeah.
Any other questions, comments by commissioners before we open up for public? Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite any member of the public who wishes to speak on, for, or against the tax abatement agreement to come forward. All right. Commissioners, one last opportunity. Any other questions or comments as part of this public hearing?
The, and let me ask Barry, the current pasture rate for ag evaluation is, do you know it, Barry, off the top of your head?
It's all the same, isn't it, Tommy?
Is
acre per
all,
acre.
or is cultivated, cultivated land?
I never was in Dag's stance, I just showed up when the band was tearing
I know,
down.
but I get, I've got,
I didn't get
you know,
invited.
ag value land.
But it's
But they don't-
cultivated land though,
Right.
right?
They don't separate it, you get one,
Didn't get invited, boys.
yeah, you get one bill for, I'm gonna say it's the same, but I
But
could
like,
be
what
wrong.
would that be per acre?
It's,
So it's-
Yes.
is it 12 and a half?
I think we may have an answer.
So in my past, I was 20 years in an appraisal district,
There you go.
so typically they'll have a cropland, native
Yeah.
pasture, and improved pasture land, different prices per acre. So it could be anywhere for native pasture, it could be say $85 an acre, you know, on up for improved pasture, then cropland could be at, you know, $120.
Yeah, and we're not near that high.
No, we're
So
kind
anyway,
of,
that's just,
we're in that
that's how that
$15
works.
range.
There's gonna
Yeah.
be three different typically.
Yeah.
And I've never
They
really
are-
looked, I don't know if mine's separated or not, you get it all in one statement. Says send a check to Tommy Smile.
Well, they,
Well,
and I think mine, they value it separate, but it comes as one bill.
They don't, it's different blocks,
Yeah.
probably, okay, I got you, I
Well-
just never paid that much attention to it.
Any other questions?
I appreciate the public coming to ask lots of questions.
That's what they have, the
Well,
members
they've
of
had
this
months,
dais
they've
for.
had months to ask, and they've had.
All right, going once, going twice. All right, it is 10:53 and the public hearing is closed. That takes us to item number 2, which is discuss, consider, and or take action to authorize the county judge to sign the tax abatement agreement with Total Energies Renewables USA LLC. Do we have any more discussion?
I would like to say one thing.
Okay.
The citizens constantly send us messages and they complain on social media about these AI facilities, wind farm facilities.
Be right back.
And people need to understand by the time we get these to be asked about an abatement, that the companies have already made an agreement with the property owners. This is solely a property rights, property rights deal. I mean, if I have property and I wanna do something with it, then I have the right to sell it to whoever I want to. This company stepped in and bought it. We couldn't stop this as a commissioner's court. We couldn't have stopped this from happening at all. They could come in and build it. But with us at least doing the tax abatement, we put some parameters in there that protect the citizens of Wichita County, that protect the county as a whole. And the citizens need to realize that when we're looking at something like this, we're doing this with always the best intentions for the citizens. It's not to make anything about this has nothing to do to affect any of these commissioners or the judge directly. We're only trying to make the best decisions for the residents. So I just wanted to say that because constantly they think that there's some kind of benefit in it for an elected official, and there's not. This is strictly trying to make the tax base less of a burden on your average property homeowner. That's what this does. If we don't have growth in this county, then we're gonna continue to pay higher tax rates than other counties that are having growth. So they always wanna compare us to counties that have this low tax rate. It's because they have a very booming economic
This is,
forecast, and they're making money off those people and not the taxpayers. So I just wanted to say that.
this is like realizing another cent on our tax rate.
Yep.
A little more than a cent, so.
And a little bit of that is to help with, there will be a small level of extra services or that might be needed to be provided for this. But heck, we've sort of addressed that with the fire, stuff. And it is an investment and new revenue coming in that does help defray from what taxpayers would have to pay without having to add a lot of responsibility.
And using that pilot as opposed to regular abatement. We know what each year's annual payment will be, we can plan for it
Yeah.
accordingly.
And if they come back and actually make a bit larger investment, the
We
pilot
get-
will
We
increase.
grow by the additional investment.
We've got the numbers. I remembered I had my statement in my briefcase. On this one property, he's running the numbers here. The market value is $392,000 on this piece, and the ag value is $42,000, so it's considerably less. I don't remember, what does that come
About
to?
11%.
Let's see, 42.
That's on, what, 208 acres? That'll tell us the ballpark.
It gives a value of $200 per acre, where they're going to be taxed at property at $2,000 an acre.
Right, that's
So,
different.
like, you were
Yeah.
right on the money.
Just a little different.
That's a
So we gotta
concern.
change our rate.
And I don't know,
Yeah,
I mean,
and-
it seems like they could put part of that in ag value that they're not using. They're the owners of it, but I guess they can't
Well-
under this agreement.
No, I think it's gonna change the purpose of it where,
Right.
now, initially, phase two could stay in an ag evaluation for a period of time until they
And
develop.
to be clear, this abatement agreement only applies to
Phase one.
phase one, that southern section. If they choose to come back and move forward with phase two, they could come back and ask for another abatement.
But there is a major
Well, I hope
difference
it
in the
does.
ag value, and that's
Yes.
gonna
And-
affect.
And Jim, neither way, in whatever year, not just the first year, but this is in lieu of. And so we then are exempted from the mathematics about how it affects the roll.
So the value is being abated at 100%, which means that that value will not be part of the equation for the no new revenue or the voter approval rate. Is that your question?
Yes.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Well, I hope it does really awesome, and you have to come back before us pretty soon and go put in another park, because it works out so well.
Absolutely.
And that being said, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
I might surprise y'all. You never know.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Beecham, to authorize the county judge to sign a tax abatement agreement with Total Energies Renewables USA LLC. Do you have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Gentlemen, thank y'all. You're welcome to stay. You're also welcome to hit the road if you need to, so.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move to item number 3. I'll note that it is 10:58 a.m. And we are opening a public hearing to consider the closure, abandonment, and vacation of a .65 acre segment of Musgrave Road and the vesting of title and the abutting owners pursuant to Texas Transportation Code 251.058. Commissioner Fincannon, do you want to just briefly talk about how this came about?
I was contacted by a property owner at the end of Musgrave Road. He owns most of the farmland between, right there at the Clay County line, in the Wichita County side, going all the way back to the river. I believe that's from 171. But owns a tremendous amount of property out there, and he contacted us because he is the only one that has use of that land. He owns both sides of the road. He owns, and all the property to the north, the west, and the east of this Musgrave Road. He asked us about if we would be willing to give that land up, abandon that land, take the county, he wants to do away with the county road, put a fence up there, and utilize that land himself. So, to be real honest with you, as the Precinct 2 Commissioner, I'm not gonna turn down any option to get rid of more road to take care of for the county taxpayers. Road, it costs a lot of money to mow road, it costs a lot of money to maintain road, and if he wants to take care of it himself and fence it off, I don't care if he plows it up. We did work with him, to get that done, had surveys done, sent out notices that were done on it. The only thing, and you might wanna go into that, but the only thing that will stay in is there are some utility easements that are already run through there that are, they last forever. You can't really get rid of those utility easements, so he didn't have a problem with that. I talked to him yesterday. he also has some other land that has had abandoned roads on it. They also have access there also, so.
Yeah, just the transportation code actually outlines that any easements or right-of-way utilized by a utility or common carrier, those have to go, if that's part of the county road, they have to go with anything that transfers. And so I'm glad you talked to the property owner and he understands that. And so that's the only exception to any weird part of this is that Encore and I think one other potential they'll still have access to that easement to work on their lines.
And one other quick thing, the landowner took care of paying for the survey and giving all that also, wasn't any fee to the county. So that'll be back his land.
All right, any
Questions?
questions or comments on that? Melvin got to learn a new segment of state law on another item regarding what we had to do on this. So thank you for that work, Melvin, and Commissioner, thank you for tracking it down.
I'm glad. Anyway, my motion would be to go ahead and.
Hold on, this is just the
This is the
public
public
hearing.
hearing, I'm sorry.
Do we have any member of the public who wishes to speak on, for, or against closure, abandonment, and vacation of this segment of Musgrave Road?
Does this mean we're gonna recalculate the road miles for the 2026 budget?
We can.
Take it away from him, take it away.
0.65, I'm willing to go with it.
Yes, we will be recalculating that. And that'll be for the 27 budget. The 26 was based on the TxDOT submitted numbers. All right, any other questions or comments? It is 11:02 and public hearing is closed. Item number 4 is discuss, consider, and or take action on an order to close, abandon, and vacate a .65 acre segment of Musgrave Road and vest title on the abutting owners pursuant to Texas Transportation Code 251.058.
So moved.
Second.
We've got a motion by Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Beecham, to authorize the order to close, abandon, and vacate the .65 acre segment of Musgrave Road and vest title on the abutting property owners. Do you have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Excuse me. Item number 5 is review and approve the regular bills for payment, verify payroll taxes have been filed, and authorize county treasurer to disperse payroll and or bills within 72 hours via U.S. mail, FedEx, UPS, electronically, or be picked up and acknowledged by a ledger signature in the treasurer's office.
Motion to pay.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Mahler, seconded by Commissioner Beecham to approve bills for payment, verify taxes have been filed, and authorize dispersal of payroll and or bills. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? That motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. Item number 6, discuss, consider, and or take action to approve and ratify the minutes of the November 18, 2025 regular session.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Mahler to approve and ratify the minutes of the November 18, 2025 regular session. Any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. I'm gonna need to take a drink before this one. It's a paragraph. Item number 7, discuss, consider, and or take action on the realignment of tax assessor's office salaries. The realignment will not exceed the 2026 budgeted position maximums and will be funded through tax collection agreement services from one outside agency. The effective date of this change will be November 21st, 2025 for purposes of payroll disbursement to be made on December 12th, 2025 and to allow for a budget transfer from Department 409 if necessary. Whew. Tommy, would you like to just give the 10,000 foot on this one?
I'm prepared to filibuster this if I have to. Merry Christmas to the Commissioners Court, and I certainly hope that y'all be anointed with the Christmas spirit while considering this agenda item for our office. May peace and brotherly love flow through the hallowed halls of county government.
Good morning to you too.
I seen Barry's Christmas promo last night on KFDX, Judge, and I've been fired up all morning. I'm in the spirit.
Ring some jingle bells or
Merry
something.
Christmas,
And
Mickey.
did it in one take, Tommy.
And did it, always, Barry.
True professional.
True professional, the gold standard. I could beat this to death till the world looks level, but I won't. But I will, if you don't mind, Judge. We have a very fine Wichita County auditor, probably one of the finest in the state of Texas,
I agree.
that can explain the finer brushstrokes of this matter. This is what we did last year, Commissioners Court, with our funds from our City View judge, our funds off our tax collection services. And man, if you'll get the court kind of up to speed, I'd certainly appreciate it.
So we have already billed out for the 2026 tax collections to the agencies. City View ISD has already paid their share. They paid over $5,600. This will be about $3,700 with salary and fringe included to move the current tax assessor positions up to what they would be for the 2026 budget, excluding elected official salary.
You're essentially getting a 5-week head start on 2026 amounts, and it's paid for out of the funding, the extra funding that comes through from the City View.
2.9 payrolls for their department.
And it falls under that nice, big, wonderful category that all court officers like to hear. It's got that hyphen between it. It's budget neutral. We're not asking for anything above and beyond what's already been collected.
Logistically, Matt, we are approving a change in the 2025 max salaries to that new number for 2026
For 1 month.
for 1 month.
For 1 month.
And then, but we don't need to increase any amounts in the budget itself for any of that.
No, sir.
Judge, I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, we got a motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Mahler, to approve the realignment of tax assessors' office salaries and move these positions that are outlined to the 2026
Yes, sir.
number. Okay.
And just so everyone's on the same page, Tommy took on the additional duties of that without increasing the number of individuals that we had. And in lieu of that, this was what we compromised in how to do that best, and it works out well.
Worked out well.
Right, and we have done this before, so we did this whenever he initially took those responsibilities over, and then unfortunately it stopped for a little bit, and then we started it back up last year.
Yeah.
Might talk about when, during the next budget cycle, getting it built in so
Built
that
in.
it's not part of,
And we talked about it last year, Judge, what we
Yep.
would do, but I know, I think there's.
There's one or two other
we-
things.
Yeah, we only had 50 some odd budget meetings, and so.
It's on our list.
Okay.
For next year.
Believe me, it's on our list.
Okay. All right, so we've got that motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Mahler. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? Okay, then that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you, Judge. I do want, on a sidebar note, I know it won't do any good since this presentation's already over with. I would like to, I can validate Mr. Fincannon, Commissioner Fincan's employment with the Wichita County Sheriff's Office. I met Mickey on my first day at work in 1989.
Wow.
But my word don't carry a lot of strokes. I thought I'd at least get that on the record.
I appreciate
Mickey,
that.
came
I'm
to you-
gonna
I
work
came-
on
I
getting
came to
those
your
records.
aid. I did come to your aid on the record.
I'll go in and change the 5 to 10 and then have you sign next to it.
I appreciate it. Send it over, Judge.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tommy.
It may not have known. It doesn't cost anymore.
That's right.
That's right.
Item number
Budget neutral.
Item number 8 is discuss, consider, and/or take action to adjust Department 412 salaries for 2025 by funding a software support analyst position budgeted to begin in 2026 in 2025 from the unused salary and benefits from Department 412 positions. Brendan, do you want to lay this one out?
make the internal move a little bit faster. We have an opening because our help desk left earlier, or last month, and so the amount that we have free would allow us to make that move without affecting the overall budget.
So the court approved an amount in its 2026 budget for an increased position. We haven't done max salaries yet for 2026, so that hasn't been done, but to bring on an extra position in IT in 2026, the effect of this would be to start that position. There's no beginning date on this, Brendan. Would it be to start it today? Would it be to start it next payroll period? Last
It would be
payroll?
for in 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now.
So it's a very short move. It just allows us to move stuff internally.
Do you have that date on you by chance? So we can have that part of the motion?
do.
Effective
The
date.
16th is 2 weeks from today.
Mm-hmm.
I think she put it as the 12th.
The 12th?
Yes.
So you've got a position that's empty right now. You're asking for the new position to come in. You're promoting someone within to that new position. You're not adding any employees right now. You're just essentially creating the position early to bring them into.
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
All right. Go ahead,
It's
your motion.
No, I'll make the motion, but I'm just gonna say from what you said, I'll make the motion to go with what you just said. 'Cause that's a little tricky, but I think I understand what it is.
I'll say it because I'm sure if you're asking that, Morgan is too, for the purposes of the official motion. It would be to adjust our 2025 positions and max salaries and add a new position of software support engineer at the 2025 amount of $59,160 annually. Go ahead and add that. Yeah, actually, that is the motion. Is we're just adding a position at that rate for 2025.
I'll second what he said, what you said.
Judge, can you make that to be funded from within the departmental budget?
Yep.
That'll be mine.
Hear, hear.
All right, let's see if I got this. We've got a motion from Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Beecham, to add a software support engineer position for effective December 12th, 2025, at a annual salary of $59,160, and for that to be funded out of Department 412. That was a great motion you had, Commissioner.
That was very good. That's just exactly how I wanted it.
Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 9, discuss, consider, and or take action on issuing a county burn ban. It's everyone's favorite time of the week, the chance to get to hear from the esteemed Dwayne Birkenfeld. Mr. Birkenfeld, you mind coming forward and letting us know what the latest is on the ground?
Good morning, Judge,
Good
Commissioners.
morning.
Mine's gonna be a little boring compared to the rest we've had already this morning, but, everything's kinda staying the same as far as, where we're at in the county. As of this morning, the, KDBI for Wichita County was, minimum 340, max was 605 with an average of 460. So we've got zero change in the last, few days of where we're at, so, haven't had any fire chiefs reach out or anything. Keep hating to bother them, but we kind of gave them this week off with the weekend and all, everything with Thanksgiving. Kind of visited with a few of them on some runs we've been out on, and they're kind of still holding to where we're at right now, kind of letting everybody do their control burns and see if they can get some more stuff accomplished for the farmers and ranchers and whoever needs to do that. So, like I said, the last few fires we've had were mainly from welders not taking care of precautions doing that. It wasn't from the control burn people. They've been doing a real good job at that, and the control burns we've had called in are, have been been safe to take care of, so. Don't have a lot to report on it, other than I think we just need to leave it off for another week and we'll revisit it. Had some pretty decent moisture over the last few days, nothing big, but just enough to.
This morning,
Frosting this morning, and, so I think my suggestion would be just to kinda leave it off for this week, and we'll revisit it next week at court, and kinda check with them towards the end of the week and the weekend to see how they feel, if their pulse is still good to hold it off, or if they need to go and implement it.
Wayne, who's in, like Archer and Clay, are they both in?
Clay, Archer, and Will Barger, I believe. Will Barger's actually this morning was 447 for a minimum, 667 was a max with a 577 average. So the dry line and all that's kind of moving this way slowly, but it's kind of stalled out there around Will Barger area. So
Do y'all want to maintain the weekly item to discuss this on a weekly basis?
I'd probably like to have the option to
Okay.
bring it up when need be.
It can change, really quickly. If they really get to, if those chiefs go to having a problem, then we need to step in and do something, but if they're not, there's no need.
And the way our timeline is nowadays for posting,
Yeah.
it would be better just to keep
Okay.
it on there.
I just wanted to make sure that was still the court's desire, so. Okay, any other questions, comments on this item, Dwayne? All right, thank you, sir.
thank you.
We will not take any action on this item today. Item number 10 was going to be discuss, consider, and or take action to approve the 2026 maximum salaries. I need another week. Our, I forget what Tommy called them, but our esteemed best in the state auditor found a couple of issues in the draft we were gonna be looking at and need another week to get those ready. So, is there any objection to tabling this item and putting it back on for next week?
No problem.
Nope.
All right, with no objection, number 10 is tabled for 1 week. Item number 11, we're about to enter a little tabling run here. Item number 11 is discuss, consider, and or take action on adopting an RFQ and authorizing bids for design build form for the Burke-Burnett Annex project. Ran into a last minute snag on the RFQ and some back and forth on what needed to be in it. Thought we would have it ready for today, but need to push this back another week. Is there any objection to tabling item number 11 and putting it on for next week? With no objection, item number 11 is tabled until next week.
Now, let me ask on that, did we already take action on our architect to draft the RFQ?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
we've already got that done.
Yes.
Okay.
And
they
we,
have-
and we received it, it's just, it was lacking a couple things that we weren't that pleased with, so we're doing some editing.
Well, could we go ahead next week for the, similar to what we did? That was 2 weeks ago, I remember now. But to proceed with selecting an architect for,
The way station? Yeah, it's a separate item, we can definitely.
okay,
Put that on there.
okay.
All right, item number 12, an item, did you have something, Tommy?
Yes, Judge Mickey, does this alter our January?
And it might by a week or two, but I don't know that it shouldn't be much. We had we had a couple of weeks built in there already, so we'll see.
We'll keep you posted though, for sure. Item number 12, open and take action as necessary on generator bids. I see an
We
envelope,
received
so it looks
two,
like.
yes.
Got a couple.
First one is from Dillard Electric, which
Thank y'all.
we've used in the towers at Electric.
All right, so as Commissioner Watts said, this is from Dillard Electric, and it is for, their total amount is for $87,174.27. That looks like that's for one Cummins RS50 3-phase generator, one Cummins OTEC 225 amp ATS, and then 3 Cummins RS-25 NG LPG generators, and then and then 3.
Is that for 4 units then?
That's for 4 units total.
And install?
Freight, generator startup and testing, and it doesn't say installation.
It's not included install. We did not include install.
Oh, did not include it.
Dwayne, where's that three-phase generator go?
That's gonna go at my office.
Oh, okay, so it's a building now, I didn't think those towers would need that.
So that's $87,174.27 from Billard Electric.
Didn't all go in.
I know.
Here, office, that's why you go next.
Oh,
Repackaged.
Thank you.
What'd you say the company? Lofton Equipment is our next bid out of Irving, Texas.
Do you remember how long? All right. Lofton Equipment. All right, looks like we've got the 3 generators are priced at $78,558. The one larger generator is at $28,656. It includes the switches. It doesn't have a total. Let me put that together real quick.
That's for also 4 units?
Mm-hmm. Total of $116,709 from Lofton. Do we have any others?
That's it, Judge.
Matt, do you remember, or Dwayne, do you remember what the amount we had originally thought we were gonna be able to proceed on was?
So we received $204,000 in grant funds. We had to pay for an engineer, that cost us $11,000. They will continue to assist with the grant, and they had projected about $17,000 for their services, leaving us about $190,000. That would also have to include any cement work and then the install that we've not bid on, and then the cost of the generators. When we went out for bid through the co-op, we got back around 120,000 was the bid for the generators, and so we were kind of trying to
Close.
budget and make sure that we're gonna have enough funding. By the sound of these bids, we should have sufficient funding. This is all gonna be paid from the TDOM FEMA related generator grant that we've received.
It is nice to see that the amount was, especially on one of those bids, and again, we'll look at them, but significantly lower than what the co-op amount.
So take under
Did-
advisement, research a little bit more.
Yeah, did we have a estimated, Dwayne, did you think through what the installation could potentially cost? Is that a $50,000 job, or?
Commissioner, I got with Ricky on kinda looking at this or whatever, and I didn't really come up with anything as far as how far I could go, and it's hard to be able to get somebody to come out to give you a quote to figure out how much it's gonna be in regards of them not being able to bid on it or going against the rules or whatever, so, we just kinda put our heads together and was kinda thinking that the numbers we'd come up with, Matt and Ricky and us, were trying to figure out, estimating on how much it would be to get there, so our numbers may be off a little bit, so, I think we're gonna be in the money, but.
Okay.
What kind of money are you at right now? What do you think, what are your thoughts on cement and installation?
Matt,
Do we know?
do you remember the numbers with Ricky, numbers we come up with?
Well, actually, we kind of started moving forward in this direction and then started getting pricing on the generator through, the other
Co-op.
sources. And then everything got pulled back and thrown on, pumped the brakes. So, but I mean, pads for the 3 smaller sites, those are gonna be negligible. I mean, you're probably,
right.
maybe $1,000 just because you're having to, you know, mobilize and do all the stuff remotely, per pad, maybe, or less. I would say less, but about 1,000. The pad for his location is gonna be a little more significant, but I would expect somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,500 or so, or something like that, with some adequate steel. Then when it comes to the electrical, wiring from the generator to the panels, on the remote sites, I mean, that's a, you know, $1,000, $1,500 job, you know, maybe.
A site, yeah.
Yeah, per site. And then on the building, that's where it could get a little more extensive because we're having to upgrade the service on the inside and do some things to bring it, where it's more up to code and usable.
That's still gonna be
That one.
5 to
is-
10, even if you upgrade the service.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be over 10.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying, 5.
Yeah, we wouldn't be over 10.
Plenty of room in the grant to handle that.
Yes, I think we had about 5,000 for the towers, 5 to 7,000, then we had about 15,000 to 20,000 for the
Okay.
emergency management side.
That's good to know.
We should be well over on all of it.
Do y'all wanna,
Yeah.
take under advisement? Is that your motion, Commissioner?
Second.
Okay.
All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Beecham to take these under advisement and put an item on next week's agenda to potentially take action. Any questions or comments on the motion or the item? That motion's before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 13, discuss, consider, and or take action to approve the purchase of SOBRA contract management and source to contract solution software to be paid from Department 409 with lines determined by the county auditor. I was looking at this again yesterday in preparation for court, and I'd like to see if we can potentially get that cost down at all. Commissioners, do y'all have any objection to tabling this and bringing it back up next week?
No.
All right, then with with no objection.
This is the purchasing.
This is the purchasing and contract management software. All right, with no objection, we're going to table item 13 and move, let's put it on again for next week. Morgan, we're already pre-building the agenda for you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
We're just setting the table.
Item number 14, discuss, consider, and or take action to approve a quote for fencing along the frontage of the county cemetery and farm to be paid from Department 530 with lines determined by the county auditor. Commissioner?
Well, if you sense a theme here,
Would you like to table this?
yeah, I'm gonna have to table it. I'd received 2 estimates for the project. Both of them lacked sufficient detail to make a wise decision, so I've asked for some clarification. I have not received it yet, so.
Commissioners, is there any objection to tabling item number 14 and putting it on for next week?
No.
All right, then item 14 is tabled. We'll put it on for next week. Item 15, receive an annual activities report from building maintenance and housekeepers. Commissioner Beecham?
This is Ricky's turn, so.
You want to table it?
I didn't know this, I didn't prepare anything.
Oh, so we'll table it.
You want to table it?
Can we table it till,
Yeah.
Sure
Table
can.
it till next week.
then I can give you a nice shiny report. I just actually saw this just a few minutes ago and I'm like,
And we wanted a PowerPoint, really, with some music.
Yeah, and we actually we don't even need to table it because it's not an action item, so we can just put you on when you're ready. If you'll just let Morgan know when you're ready to do it, we can get it on the agenda.
I mean, I can give you something now, but if you want something a little more polished.
I'm with Mickey. I want music.
Yeah.
Maybe some food.
I'll be glad to pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
All right, item number 16 then is receive update on courthouse renovations and county courthouse annexes. Commissioner Beecham.
Even though there's not a lot to talk about, I won't table it. So, really, the only open project that we have with activity going on right now is the security project. There's Iowa Park, they're finishing up here. Still nothing, no problems concerns or anything
The
going on with
building
them.
looks good, Mark.
Yeah, I haven't been back out there
Yeah.
since they finished painting, so,
It looks good. It freshened that old building.
yeah,
up
it was,
good.
it looked way different.
What is the, thought, I know Tommy's situation can, maneuver fine, but what about our JP at Burke? What's gonna happen when that building comes down?
We have,
Yeah, I'm working with the city of Burkburnett for some space in there.
Okay, okay.
Fire building? Yeah.
it's their fire administration
Yeah.
building now, so.
They came forward pretty early to say they'd be happy to work with us on
Okay.
that, so we're getting something together.
So, really nothing much else to report than that.
Okay. I will say this, part of the reason, we make a joke of it, part of the reason on the need to table so much, some of it's just because it's after a holiday, but some of this is directly related to the new posting requirements. We've essentially had to move up when we have to make decisions on the agenda and post by 2 full days. And so there's stuff that's
Yeah.
sort of on the border, we go ahead and put it on knowing that we can push it a little bit. So I did want just any member of the public who's wondering, y'all sure do seem to
Yeah.
table a bunch. That's part of the reason why.
And and that's kind of an inside joke, is why we laugh about it, is because they've changed these guidelines, and
Yeah,
it's made it a little tougher on us.
we have to guess.
We have to guess
Yeah.
whether or not we can have it ready by then.
Just-
But we don't wanna put it off, cause if
To-
we wait.
Today's the day that we have to turn in things for next
For
week.
next week.
It could
Right.
be-
Right.
So
it
does
makes-
tabling today, does that work as posting for next week?
If that's part of what we
Almost,
say, it
yeah.
will, yeah. It doesn't always, but. So on that theme, we will not be going into closed session today because the item that was on there, which was the briefing and discussion with the district attorney's office regarding hiring processes and procedures for county employees. This item, what we're gonna talk about ended up not needing to talk about, and some of the larger policy questions are gonna be folded into the bigger policy discussion the court will be having later on in the year when we do our annual policies check. So, with that, commissioners, is there any objection to pulling off the closed session item?
Not at all.
Okay. We don't need to put that on the agenda for next week. All right, then with that, I think that takes care of all of our business for today. It is 11:33 and court is adjourned.